Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on, the slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. Better Off Dead, Wednesday, October 8th. Didn't have any plays yesterday because I'm an idiot, and the play I gave out in WNBA is actually tonight, so I will reiterate that play. We got a lot to do today, man, just a lot of different sports. It's not a lot of games on the board, but a lot of sports are in action. We got playoff baseball. Every series is in action today. We have WNBA, of course. We have WNBA finals. We have college football, Conference USA Wednesday is starting, and we have what else do we have? Hockey. Oh yeah, hockey. I forgot about that. Dirty Sock, what's up, man? Oh, thank you, sir. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out again. Jeffrey, what's up? Thanks for hanging out again, man. You parlayed the under on all 3 NHL games. I think they all won, right? Yeah, that won. Nice. And then you have you did Panthers, Penguins, Avs, and that one as well. Solid. The Panthers, I know they only won by 1, but like statistically, they pretty much dominated that game. It was crazy. They had like a massive shot edge in that game. It was crazy. The game was as close as it was. I didn't really pay attention to the other games, though. I had the game on late last night here with the Colorado, and I wish I gave out Colorado, man, because the market read was saying Colorado. I forgot to mention a couple of things yesterday. Colorado, I mentioned that LA was good at home last year. They were really good at home, but Colorado played LA really well last year. Like, they beat them both times in Colorado, and the one time I think they only played once at LA, and they took them into overtime. So Colorado seems to match up pretty well against them. I know there's some personnel changes and whatever, but similar teams. And I forgot to mention the coaching scenario in the Penguins-Rangers game. Former Penguins coach Mike Sullivan, who actually was the U.S. coach in the Four Nations tournament or whatever, he's now the coach of the Rangers, I'm pretty sure. So that's interesting as well. And I believe he's from Massachusetts as well. He's from my area, man. So, yeah, I forgot to mention all of that. Yeah, Sock, he's the Undertaker, like I am in baseball. Unders tend to cash, I think, a little bit more often than overs just because public generally wants overs. But, I mean, I kind of pointed that out yesterday. I think these opening games in hockey, I think they have a little bit of a tendency to go under because, like, the offenses aren't quite there yet. Like, it's the same in other sports, too. Like, it takes a little bit longer to get the offense going than it does to get the defense going. WNBA, we talked about this yesterday, but I'll mention it one more time. This is the same game I handicapped yesterday, although Phoenix is now up from 1.5 to 4.5. I gave it out at 3.5 yesterday. 4.5 is getting a little bit dicey, but I do think Phoenix will be the right side and win this game. Hopefully, if you bet it at a better number than 4.5. You could look to maybe use it as like a money line parlay piece if you want to, but I did give it out at 3.5 on Phoenix, so I'll just reiterate that. Phoenix is down 0-2 in the series. Vegas is a little bit public, 51% of tickets and cash on them. Kind of expected them to be more public, but throughout what we've seen in the market, like throughout the last few days, we've basically, I think, seen the money come in on Phoenix. And then I think maybe just because it got a little bit too high, maybe some of the money coming back on Vegas. But this is like a zigzag spot. Like I talk about in the NBA playoffs, when a team is down 0-2, coming back home, that's like the best spot to play them because they're usually going to give you their best effort in that game. They're facing elimination. I know it does mean the pressure is on them, but it means that Vegas can actually kind of like take their foot off the gas a little bit. I know they want to end the series, but they know that they can win this series if they win one more in the next 3 games. Phoenix, it's going to be the last gasp effort. So usually you see the best effort from them in a game like this. I'd rather have them in a smaller favorite than this or as an underdog, but that wasn't going to be the case in a series like this. Phoenix is also good at home. I think they were like 17-5 regular season at home. Vegas was only 13-9 on the road. So a little bit of a home advantage there, although that's certainly factored into the line, though. But I think also the fact that game 2 was a little bit more of an outlier. Vegas won by double digits. Phoenix didn't shoot well in the game. They were like, I think they were below 20% from three-point range in the game, and Vegas shot almost 50% from the field. So those are outliers that you expect to kind of regress or progress back to some sort of mean there. And with Phoenix losing that badly in game 2, they're the team that has the adjustments to make coming into this one, whereas with Vegas, everything worked in that previous game, so you don't have the adjustments to make, which is why the zigzag works. Although I know Vegas does have a good coach with former player Becky Hammond, but yeah, we'll go with Phoenix in that game, laying the points there. You took it as well, or laid the points. All right, hell yeah, let's get that win, man. All right, let's keep going, man. I don't know if I'm going to call let's call the entire show the best bet segment because there aren't any games, and I have a play in every sport except for college football, although I always do football last because people like football the best, although you might not like the games today. Let's look at Major League Baseball here. We got the divisional round going on. All 4 teams are playing, or all 4 series are in play today, I should say. Seattle and Detroit. Seattle won yesterday. You got to look at the bullpen usage yesterday, and Detroit had a little bit more bullpen usage yesterday, so not only is Seattle up 2-1 now, but Seattle has the better bullpen anyway, and they're a little bit more rested after yesterday, so Seattle has a lot of advantages here. I think they do have the better hitting as well. The only question is, what are we going to get out of the starting pitching matchup here? Bryce Miller is pitching for Seattle, and he's been good throughout his career, but he had a really bad season, which was really, really plagued by injury. 5.68 ERA, 1.41 whip. Obviously, he struggled big time this year. When he's in like form, he is good though. But I think he had Tommy John surgery, and he's had real difficulty coming back from it. He's still pretty young, 27, so I expect him to at some point be back in form. He showed some signs of it this year, but I'm not ready to have my money on him, especially in a playoff scenario on the road. Detroit is better at home. Seattle's not as good on the road, although I know they won yesterday. Close game yesterday, I believe. Or no, it wasn't, right? It was 8. I think they won 8-1 yesterday. What am I saying? The second game was close. I think yesterday was not close. 8-4. I think they were up 8-1 at some point in the game, though. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to trust Bryce Miller, though. Although, if we get the Miller from a few years ago, he is good. This year, he was actually slightly better on the road, 5.56 ERA, which is unlike Seattle's pitchers. He wasn't that good, though, down the stretch. 5.61 ERA in September. 24-7 strikeout walk ratio was pretty good, but still allowing too many runs. Generally, his numbers are good against Detroit, though. 52 at-bats. He has a 13-0 strikeout walk ratio against him, which is really good. 231 batting average, 500 OPS allowed. So Miller does have good matchup numbers against Detroit. So if you are thinking of Seattle here, you at least have that going for you. And generally, if Miller, again, I think the whole question is Miller going to be back at some point from his, like recovering from Tommy John surgery? And his playoff inexperience, is that going to be a factor here? Because he's a little bit young still. He doesn't have that much playoff experience, if any. I don't even know how much he has. So the one real advantage Casey Mize has for Detroit here is that he does have playoff experience, although I don't think he's that good. His numbers look good. 3.87 ERA. 1.27 whip is all right, but And 3.68 ERA at home was good. He was good at home, but I look at his career numbers and I still keep saying Mize, I don't think he's as good as his numbers looked. I went against him in the Cleveland series here. He did pitch, though. He pitched on the wild card series. They only let him go 3 innings, and then they turned it over to the bullpen. He gave up 1 earned run. He had 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He wasn't great in the game. Really, Detroit's bullpen is what imploded in that game, and that's how he got the win on Cleveland in that one. But that was part of the handicap, that you didn't really know how long Mize was going to go in that game. I still think he's not as good as his numbers look, but he does have a start in the playoffs under his belt this year, and he pitched in the playoffs last year, and I think he actually wasn't that bad. So Mize does have some advantages here with the experience factor. Against Seattle, his numbers are not good, though. 48 at-bats, 14-5 strikeout walk ratio, 271 average allowed, 894 OPS. So the matchup numbers do indicate that Miller has the upper hand in this matchup. The money is coming in that way. Detroit down from -120 to -108. 51% of tickets on Detroit. 51% of the cash, though, on Seattle. I think part of the reason why Detroit is slightly public here is because the public is looking at those pitchers' ERAs and seeing Miller's is like sky high. But again, I'll just reiterate once more that Miller, when Miller is in his top form, he's definitely the better pitcher than Mize. It's just a matter of, is he going to be there? And is the experience going to be a factor here? So I would, I guess, agree with this and slightly lean to Seattle, but I can't do it, man. I also don't really see the argument for the under here. Total sitting at 8.5 here, but we see 78% of tickets on the over, 61% of cash on the over. It's a little bit of a higher total for a playoff game. The money looks like it's somewhat coming in on the under, but I don't really agree with that. When you have the bullpens did see some usage yesterday. I don't know how much we could trust either one of these starting pitchers here, really. So I would slightly lean to an over, although I think the best way to play that is Seattle. You want to hear my thoughts on hockey? Yeah, that will come after baseball. You guys are, Thailand. What? You going to pick up some lady boys over there? Continuing, well, that was afternoon baseball. Now we get into evening baseball. Milwaukee at the Cubs. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go in order, but this is going to be one of my plays. We're going to play the Cubs here. I know that my one loss in the baseball playoffs so far was on the Cubs in the previous game, but we're going to go back to it. We're going to take the Cubs at home this time, down 2-0. It's like put up or shut up time, basically, man. I mean, the Yankees, unfortunately, got it done last night, down 0-2 in the series, coming back home. I think it is. It's going to be a really, really motivated spot for the Cubs, and I think they have the matchup edge in this one, man. So we're going to go with the Cubs here. I'm now 3-1-1 in the playoffs, so I'm still doing pretty well, though that was my one loss. My one loss was the Cubs in Game 2 of the series, which was my last baseball play. But we're going to do it here. Both of these bullpens are rested, at least because they didn't. The teams didn't play yesterday. Both bullpens are pretty solid, so I don't think there's a huge edge one way or the other. Milwaukee does have their closer back, but the Cubs bullpen has been pretty good as well, and actually maybe the better one down the stretch. Milwaukee does have the somewhat better offense when they're on the road. Their offense is a little bit better. The Cubs' offense was better over the course of the entire season, but Milwaukee's was better down the stretch. But I still think that's a little bit of a wash. Maybe Milwaukee slight edge just because they're on the road. They hit well on the road. But a lot of this is about the starting pitching matchup. So I know if you want to go first 5 innings, that's fine too. But because I don't think there's a huge disadvantage with the bullpen here, I think we can go full game on this. We're going to fade Quinn Priester. I know Priester had a good season, man. 3.32 ERA, 1.24 whip for Milwaukee, 2.91 road ERA. So he was actually better on the road. But he did lose his ridiculous streak, man. So Milwaukee had 19 of his outings in a row. Milwaukee had won the game, and I think most of them were starts from him. And they finally lost that streak last time out. So I think this might be a spot now where, now that that streak is over, it might cause a little bit of a hangover effect here. Priester also has not pitched since that game, which was against the Reds late in the season, September 26th. So Priester has had a bit of extra time off, and sometimes that will affect a pitcher negatively when they have too much time off. I don't know how much playoff experience Priester has because he was mostly on Pittsburgh, so I think he's pretty new to this. I don't even know if he has any playoff experience, so he is definitely at an experience disadvantage in this matchup. He did pitch well in September still, 3.52 ERA, 25-5 strikeout walk ratio, but I think this might be where it ends for him, man. Last time out in this stadium against the Cubs on August 21st, he only gave up 1 earned run, but he wasn't good. He threw 95 pitches in 4 1/3 innings. He walked 5 guys and had 4 strikeouts, so his walk rate was terrible in the game. Generally, he's just not that good against the Cubs. I know his previous outing against the Cubs at home was okay. Gave up 2 earned runs in 5 2/3, but his numbers overall against the Cubs, they're really experienced against him because he's been in their division for like his entire career with Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Although I know he was on the Red Sox very briefly. Maybe they should have kept him. 67 at-bats against the Cubs. He has a below 1 strikeout walk ratio, 10-11, which is really bad. 299 batting average allowed and 905 OPS allowed. None of that is good. So the Cubs really do a lot of damage against Priester. So that's not looking good. The Cubs are going with Jameson Taillon, who is the more experienced pitcher, and he did have a good season, 3.61 ERA, 1.06 whip, really good, and he was good at home, so the home road splits are actually in favor of both pitchers here. 3.05 home ERA for Taillon. Taillon was injured in the middle of the season. He missed almost 2 months, and then since he's come back in late August, he's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every single one of his outings. He's only allowed 6 earned runs total across 7 starts, including a 4-inning shutout for his first playoff start against San Diego. 4 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed. Very good in that outing, and they didn't want to overextend him, so they only let him go 60 pitches. So he's on schedule now, and he's fresh, and he has that experience. I mean, he's already pitched in the playoffs in his career anyway, so he is definitely the more experienced pitcher, but he also has a start under his belt this postseason. So I think all of those things are advantages for him, and not being overworked, being on schedule. And his numbers against Milwaukee are pretty good. And 183 at-bats, 38-12 strikeout walk ratio, not bad. 251 average allowed and 669 OPS. So I think we have a big edge here in the starting pitching. I think it's an edge overall with the Cubs. That's where we're going to go with baseball today. They're down from -121 to -114 on the money line. The best I saw was -120, but I think that's a fine price. Basically, you're just getting pretty much home advantage and nothing else if you play that as the price. 54% of the cash on the Cubs, 56% of tickets on Milwaukee. So Milwaukee is a little bit public because they're 2-0. Public, very recency bias. Milwaukee had the better record on the season. I think the Cubs get this one. And again, I think maybe they should even be a little bit more of a favorite here than just getting basically home field, because I think they do have a decent edge in this particular matchup. So Cubs will be the play there. Yeah, Ben, what's up, man? Priester, the Milwaukee. Yeah, I pointed that out. Milwaukee. Well, Priester, is that his record or is that Milwaukee's record? Yeah, I mean, Priester, yeah, I pointed out they went on a run of 19 straight games in a row where Priester had pitched in those games and Milwaukee won all of them, but they lost his last start. I think Priester was overperforming, man. Like, the advanced analytics guys have been talking about Priester overperforming for a long time, and it's continued, but like, he's been able to do well for sure, but I think it's coming to an end here, man. So I think my analysis is solid on that. I think the fact that it is Priester, I think, is part of the reason why we're getting some value here. So we're going to go with who I think is the better and more experienced pitcher, Taillon. Toronto at Yankees as we get to the night games here. Toronto could have put the series away, man. They had a 6-1 lead last night with Shane Bieber on the mound. He gave up a couple more runs, and then Toronto's bullpen was really bad in the game, which you expect the Yankees bullpen to be bad. The Yankees bullpen has been really bad throughout the playoffs, but it was Toronto who was bad yesterday. I'm pissed because I think Toronto's going to lose the series, man. I just don't see it. The pitching matchup today is terrible, absolutely terrible for Toronto, and now it's gonna go to a game 5 where it's like anything can happen. So Toronto, they looked totally dominant in the first 2 games. Looked like the series was over. No, they needed to win last night with Bieber on the mound. They had a decent shot to win that game, and it didn't happen. We did see a lot of bullpen usage on both sides. Bieber was out of the game really early. Probably they should have left him in longer. I don't know what that was, because he was out pitching Rodon. Rodon was terrible in the game. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. The Yankees used some of their high leverage relief arms last night, though. But both bullpens are pretty used. I think the Yankees have a slight bullpen disadvantage here, though. Generally, their bullpen is not really as good as Toronto's. Toronto's isn't that good either, though. But that's going to be kind of taken out of the picture, though, because Toronto's basically going with a bullpen game here, which is a huge problem. And the Yankees have the somewhat better offense, too. Both offenses are good, but this is really bad, man. Louis Varland is going to get the start, the opener for the Blue Jays. I don't think he's made a legitimate start since 2023 when he was on Milwaukee. He's been like an opener and a relief pitcher since then. His numbers were good, 2.97 ERA, 1.2 whip, but you're only going to get 1-2 innings out of him. He wasn't as good on the road, 4.02 ERA. He actually pitched last night. He's pitched in every game in the series so far. So the Yankees have seen a bunch of him, but again, he's probably only going to go about one inning. He gave up 2 home runs in the game last night, so he was one of the main reasons they lost last night. Oh, after that, why not? Let's just have him start this game after he gave up 2 home runs last night. How about that? Yeah, fuck you. I don't think he's going to do well, man. I really don't. His numbers against the Yankees are abysmal. 394 batting average allowed, 1,398 OPS. Really, really bad. But he's only going to be in there for 1 inning, but then Toronto's going to turn it over to their bullpen. Yeah, that's not going to be good. So, yeah, I think there is a way to play this game, which I'll talk about at the end of the analysis here. Cam Schlittler is pitching for the Yankees. I will talk about Schlittler right now. It's a little bit interesting because obviously he's good. 2.96 ERA, 1.22 whip on the season. A little bit worse at home, 3.12 ERA. There are a couple of drawbacks with Schlittler, though, man. Yes, he is young. Yes, he did get one playoff start out of the way in the wild card round, so that is good. That the experience factor was not an issue. He had an 8-inning shutout against the Red Sox with 12 strikeouts. But here's the thing, man. He was extremely motivated. It was a rivalry series. The Red Sox fans were kind of giving him shit because he's from Massachusetts, and they were talking about how his family are traitors if they root for the Yankees, which I call Schlittler a traitor because he's from Massachusetts. Fuck him. But I think he could be in a little bit of a letdown spot, man. I know it is the playoffs. I don't think he's actually going to do that badly here, but this isn't the best situation for him. He threw the most pitches he's ever thrown in that game, 107 pitches to get that win. They probably should have taken him out like an inning before that. I know he continued to pitch well, but I know the Yankees bullpen sucks, but they probably should have pulled him after 7 innings, to be honest, because they knew he was going to have to pitch again. If they were going to win that game, they knew they had to get him ready to pitch again. So I think they overworked him a little bit, and that was such a big, like, emotional game. This could be a problem for him. And I think the other issue with Schlittler, and there aren't many issues, but the other issue is he basically had one really bad start on the season, and guess who it was against? It was against Toronto in the Bronx on September 5th. He only lasted 1 2/3, 4 earned runs allowed, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits allowed, and Toronto seemed to figure something out with him. It seemed like he was tipping his pitches. Maybe he's fixed that since then, but Toronto has been one of the only teams that's really figured out Schlittler. That was by far his worst start, and he actually wasn't that good in the other start against Toronto either, just his second start ever at Toronto. Not an easy assignment, but he had 3 walks in the game. 2 earned runs allowed in 5 innings wasn't that bad, but Schlittler has not been good against Toronto, man. That last time out maybe should scare you a little bit because it did look like Toronto had figured him out. And his overall numbers are not good against Toronto because of that. I know it's a small sample size. 23 at-bats, 4-4 strikeout walk ratio, 435 average allowed, 953 OPS. So you do have to worry a little bit about Schlittler there. Obviously, I think the Yankees are going to win this game, but the money is kind of starting to fade them, although I don't see how you could put your money on Toronto with what they're doing with this bullpen game. I mean, come on, man. The number on the Yankees is up from -160 to -167, 75% of tickets, 66% of the cash on the Yankees here. So the money is going against the Yankees a little bit. But no, the way that I would play this game is you want to fade the Yankees rookie. I don't know, man. Schlittler, he's definitely the real deal. You want to fade? I would not fade the Yankees here. The way I would play this game is I would go Yankees over their team total in this game. I mean, come on, man. Like, against Varland, and then you don't even know who the fuck Toronto's going to throw after Varland. Like, it's such a bad situation for Toronto. Like, I don't know how many runs you're going to need the Yankees to get here. Like, maybe 5. six runs, maybe, whatever it is. I think they could do that. This is just a bad pitching. This is, a bad scenario for Toronto, man. So I would probably do that if I was going to play this game. Yankees over the team total, or I would maybe consider going over in the game. Even though the money looks like it's coming in on the under, but I don't know what the fuck that is. 81% of tickets on the over, 71% of cash on the under. I don't understand it. Total's down from 8.5 to 8 juice to the over. Money coming in on the under. I think it's almost guaranteed that Toronto's going to give up some runs here with this setup. Schlittler is a little bit more of a mystery, I think. Like, if there's one team that could do damage against him, it is Toronto. So it is possible Toronto gets to him at least for a little bit. I mean, I think he'll still be pretty good, but Toronto might be able to get enough runs off him that we can get this thing over the total. And the bullpens, I don't trust either bullpen, obviously, and especially after last night. So the money coming in on the under makes no sense to me in this game. But yeah, I think Yankees over their team total or just over in the game are the ways that I would look at that game. And then Philadelphia at the Dodgers. We all know I have the Dodgers winning the National League in my bracket. I told you the Dodgers are going to be an extremely dangerous team in the playoffs. I mean, we know they won the whole thing last year, but the Dodgers just kind of slacked off in the middle of the season, man. And they wound up with only getting the 3 seed. They still won their division, but they got some of their best starting pitchers back. Their starting pitching rotation is really good. The Dodgers' only weakness really is their bullpen, but Philadelphia also has a bullpen weakness. So that's a problem. The Dodgers already won both games in Philadelphia, so this series is pretty much over, to be honest. I don't think there's any way the Dodgers lose both games at home. It might end tonight. The Dodgers haven't lost in the playoffs yet. Both bullpens are pretty bad. They're both rested, but I think the Dodgers bullpen is actually slightly less bad than Philadelphia's. Dodgers also have a really, really good offense at home, so even though both teams can hit, Dodgers have the better offense. Dodgers also have the better starter here. Aaron Nola's pitching for Philly. He's been good throughout his career, but he's coming back from Tommy John surgery this year, and he's had a bad season. 6.01 ERA, 1.35 whip. Really bad on the road, too. 6.97 road ERA. Started to get it together a little bit in the last month. I know 5.04 ERA isn't very good, but 31-7 strikeout walk ratio is pretty good. So he actually wasn't bad in September. I think he just kind of got unlucky with some of the runs he gave up. So he is actually pitching somewhat better. Against the Dodgers, he actually does have good numbers, and they've seen a ton of them. 246 at-bats, 43-16 strikeout walk ratio, 220 average allowed, 645 OPS. So he has done well against the Dodgers in the past there. They have to start Nola. I mean, what else are they going to do? Sanchez started in game 1, I think, right? And Sanchez is their number 1. Luzardo is their number 2. And then what else do they have left? They have Nola, and then who else do they even have? Wheeler is on the injured list. So they don't have Wheeler, who is their ace. Oh, yeah, they have Roger Suarez. What do you want to do? You want to start Walker Buehler? Even though Buehler, he has experience, but he's been so bad for years now since his Tommy John surgery. So, I think they maybe should have started Suarez here, but Suarez is going to be, if Philadelphia does happen to win this game, it will be Suarez tomorrow. But, I think Nola probably has better numbers against the Dodgers. I think that might be part of the reason why. Like, I could check right now, but I think Suarez probably doesn't do well against the Dodgers. Yeah, 326 average, 910 OPS allowed to the Dodgers. So what do you think? I think I would actually probably agree with that move and trust Nola a little bit more. Suarez, bad numbers against the Dodgers, man. But Philly's going to have to get by Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who obviously had a really good season for the Dodgers. 2.49 ERA, 0.99 whip. He was slightly worse at home, 3.04 home ERA. He hasn't allowed a run in his last 3 outings. He only allowed 2 earned runs in September. He's obviously pitching well right now. He made 1 start of the playoffs already in the Cincinnati series in the wild card. 6 and 2/3 innings pitched. Didn't allow any earned runs. 2 unearned runs, though. 9-2 strikeout walk ratio. Yamamoto, he is in good form right now. His numbers are pretty good against the Phillies as well. And only 26 at bats, though. It's a small sample. 8-3 strikeout walk ratio, 269 average allowed, 691 OPS. This is a game I would actually consider going under, even though I don't like the bullpens. I mean, the bullpens are rested. First 5 inning under might make sense. I actually think Nola might not do that bad in this game. I think both starting pitchers might actually do well here. 64% of tickets on the over, 58% of cash on the under. The total did drop a little bit down to the 7.5. So I think under actually might make sense here. It's a little bit of a risk with Nola, though, obviously, but he has been in better form, better than you would think recently, and he typically is good against the Dodgers. Money coming in on the Dodgers as well, up from -160 to -175. 66% of tickets on them, 70% of the cash on them. I wouldn't disagree with I think the Dodgers will win this game, but it seems like a bit of a price to lay, to be honest. I mean, you're going to get a little bit taxed for playing the Dodgers usually, especially with a huge ERA disparity between these two starters. So I don't know that I would really want to do that. You could maybe look to Philadelphia to go under their team total if you want to do something like that and go with Yamamoto to pitch well. But Nola's the one that actually has the better matchup number. So I think I just prefer the under in the game in general, maybe just first 5 innings. Nola, 2.5 strikeouts. Is that what his strikeout line is? I mean, the only question is how long are they going to leave him in there, right? Like, that's the whole thing. Philly, they're on the verge of elimination, man. So they might do something weird. Like, they could pull Nola at any point and just start using their bullpen because the bullpens are rested. So that's the risk if you go Nola over his strikeout number there. If he's going to stay in the game longer, it seems like a decent idea to go over with that. Giving up too many home runs, yeah. Well, Nola, again, he was returning from Tommy John surgery. He pitched better in September. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You think they should have gone with Suarez? I don't really agree. Yeah, Sanchez started game 1, correct. Sanchez was really good this year. Suarez, I mean, he has less experience than Nola, and his numbers are really, really bad against the Dodgers. So I would not trust Suarez with my playoff life on the line, man. And they had to go with one of the two guys. So it's going to be Nola / maybe a little bit of a bullpen game in this one. Yeah, Nola, I mean, he might go 5 innings in this one. He may very well be able to do that. Nola's he's still got experience too, man. So, yeah. Cubs, Blue Jays, and Phillies parlay 10-1. I don't think the Blue Jays are I would not. Why would you want the Blue Jays with Varland plus Blue Jays bullpen game? Seems really, really bad to me. I don't like the Phillies either. I don't think you're not getting anywhere near enough of a price on that. 10-1. That should probably be like 18-1. I don't like any of it. I like the Cubs, obviously, but I think the way to play this is Cubs. That is the play in baseball is the Cubs. Yamamoto, 7.5 strikeouts. That seems high. We don't know how long he's going to go in the game either, man. It's possible the Dodgers start kind of mixing and matching their bullpen too. The number on Yamamoto's strikeouts, I would assume, would be lower than that, right? Like probably somewhere around 5 or 6 usually is like the highest that you'll see. Hockey. I'm not going to talk about every single hockey game throughout the season here. I'm only going to talk about the interesting situations, which I don't think we really have any necessarily interesting situations here, but these are interesting matchups. Montreal is playing Toronto. I mean, this is a huge rivalry game here. Toronto's a pretty big home favorite at -165, but I think maybe they're a little bit too high priced in this one. Toronto up from -155 to -163. They are getting the money, 62% of tickets, 88% of the cash, but Montreal is kind of this upstart team, man. They made the playoffs last year. Toronto's good for sure, but Montreal might still be a little bit under the radar, man. I mean, they have some youth on this team. They're starting to play well again. This is a huge game for both teams. I mean, these teams hate each other, so both of these teams, they're going to show up. They're going to go all out. I don't really have any handicap necessarily this game otherwise. I mean, we can see what the starting goalie matchups are here. It is Montembeault, the young starter for the young goalie, for Montreal here. And I think Montreal has the better goaltending here, man. The Maple Leafs, I don't think their goaltending was that impressive last year. Stolars looks like he might be the goalie here. I don't love that. So, I mean, I still think there is actually some value, maybe looking to the Montreal side there. I mean, obviously I don't want to give that out as a play, but that would be my lean there. I mean, I wait for the hockey season to start going usually and get some like situations to set up. My Boston Bruins are at Washington. Boston, oh geez, the Bruins, they're like 110-1 to win their division, man. They're supposed to come in last place in their division, which I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, the Bruins, they had a really bad season last year. They fired their coach. They just seem to have no motivation for half the season. This Bruins team is at least more talented than what we saw out of them last year. They lack some depth, but they still got some really good players on this Bruins team. And I think they had some goalie issues last year because of the Swayman contract thing. They had just gotten rid of Ullmark. Didn't know what was going on. But I think Swayman, he's a really good goalie, man. I mean, I think just everything was kind of in his head last year because he like missed training camp last year. There was the contract holdout thing, whatever. I think now that he's under contract, he's being paid a ton of money though. But I think once he did begin like getting that huge contract last year, I think that was in his head too. But now I think new season, I think he can just kind of forget about that. He's there now. We know he's the guy. I think he's just going to kind of return to form here. So I do think Swayman will be better this year than he was last year. I mean, he's too good to be as bad as he was last year. We know Washington was really good last year, at least in the regular season. They were, I believe, the top seed in the Eastern Conference, although I didn't think they were really that good, and they didn't win in the playoffs, obviously. Washington's very public here. They're down from minus 188 to minus 185. 75% of tickets, 78% of the cash coming in on Washington. Looks like they're going to probably be going with Logan Thompson as their goalie, which I think he was on a different team last year too, wasn't he? I forget who Washington had for their goalies last year, but I'm bad with hockey personnel, man. But I think he was somewhere else last year. I think he was on Vegas, maybe. Am I right about that? Let me see. So I don't know, man. Thompson, he was pretty good last year, I believe. But yeah, he was on Vegas. Oh no, he was on Washington last year. What am I saying? I don't know. I must have missed that. He did play one season with Washington last year, so I don't know. He was pretty good as well. But I think there might be some value on the Bruins just because they looked so bad last year. I think they're a little bit undervalued coming into this year. It's a pretty low total in this one at 5.5, so expected to be a bit lower scoring. The Bruins might be able to hang in this game, so I know I'm leaning towards all underdogs here, but that's kind of just the way that it is. And then we do have Calgary, Edmonton. Here's my play. I'll give you out a play on this one. We're going to do a split bet. Calgary plus the 1.5 puck line at minus 130 and the other half on the money line at plus 190. If you want to go straight up just on the puck line here, you have to lay a little bit more than I would like on the minus 130. Like you can basically do that like a spread bet. You just have to pay a little bit more for it. This way you're kind of reducing your risk a little bit. And then if they come within the 1.5, you'll win less, but you'll win a little bit of something. You'll only lose the money line portion of it. If you split it so that each side of the bet is to win the same amount, then if they come within one goal, within 1.5 goals, you'll at least win a small amount. But you're putting less on the line if you do it this way. Although you'd put even less on the line if you just go straight up money line. But I'm not sure they're really going to win this game. But I think they can hang in this game against Edmonton, man. Calgary actually played Edmonton well last year. I mean, these teams know each other pretty well. They're rivals in Alberta. Calgary, if you look at what they did last year against Edmonton, they actually played them pretty well. They actually won in Edmonton early in the season last year. 3 games in, they beat them 4-1, although Vladar was the goalie in that one. It looks like it's going to be Wolf this time, but I don't think there's a huge disparity between Calgary's 2 goalies, man. I think they might still have them both. But Wolf, I mean, he's used to being there too. That was at Edmonton that they won that game 4-1. Then they did lose the other game, but they only lost in overtime on the road at Edmonton, and they did lose at home 4-2, but they actually played well both times they played at Edmonton. They didn't lose in regulation in either game at Edmonton last year, and Wolf played that second game. So they did do pretty well, and Skinner was the goalie in the game where Edmonton did worse in the 4-1 game. Nose Picker was the Captain Picard. Captain Nose Picker was the goalie in the other game for Edmonton that they won in overtime. So I don't know, man. Edmonton, I still don't really trust their goalies here. Skinner is probably going to be the guy in this one, but I still don't think he's that good. I think Edmonton kind of thrives off of their offense, and now we know they just signed McDavid to some massive new contract, but I think that could get in his head a little bit here, man. Just like I talked about with Swayman, you become like the highest paid. I think he might be the highest paid hockey player in history now. McDavid, like that's something that maybe can kind of affect you early on and fuck with your head a little bit. And Edmonton is in the spot that I talk about this, the finals hangover spot, and it's double that now because Edmonton, they lost in the finals last year and they lost in the finals the year before that. It's just brutal, man. Teams in that situation could start slow the next season. I mean, that's just the way that it is. It happens in every sport. I don't really know exactly why, but I believe I went with that same thing last year, and I got a win on that last year with Edmonton. They started slow last year, and I think they might again. Yeah, they lost. That was postseason. Hang on. Yeah, they lost their first 3 games last year, including losing 6-0 to Winnipeg, which I think was one of my wins last year, and that was with Skinner in net. So Skinner was really bad in the early games. They actually lost to Chicago in one of the early games too. So I think you could see a similar situation here, man. Edmonton, 2 seasons in a row, they're in this runner-up hangover spot, which is like a curse early on. I know Edmonton wound up having a fine season anyway, but early on, I think it's going to be bad. So, yeah, I think Calgary does have some advantages here, man. And Edmonton, remember, they made that huge run through all the way to the finals, which I think went 7 games, whereas Calgary didn't even make the playoffs. So I think that's going to be something that affects them here, too. Calgary has way more rest here. Edmonton went through that entire grueling playoff run for like extra months. You know what I mean? So I think that has something to do with this hangover effect to some extent too, whereas Calgary went home early, got a lot of rest. So Calgary should be the more rested team coming into this too. So we'll go with Calgary, man. Split bet, half puck line, half money line. Wouldn't shock me if they won the game outright. Although I'm not going to totally bank on it, but we'll have some of the money on it. Edmonton is up from -205 to -214, but they are really public. The most public of all the teams here. 93% of tickets, 97% of the cash on them. So we will fade them here. Edmonton sucked in the finals. Actually, did it not go 7 games this time? The previous year went 7 games. How many games did it go last year? I forget. Maybe it didn't go 7. I thought that it did, though, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I remember I had Florida winning the whole thing, though, in my bracket. I think Wolf will start. He looks like he is scheduled to start here, but I don't know if they still have Vladar. We'll see, man. I don't know which one of them they even consider to be the better goalie. And then we do have L.A. at Vegas. So L.A. is going to be the first team to play 2 games here. They played last night, and they lost 4-1 with Kemper in net for L.A. So now L.A. is probably going to go with their other goalie here on a back-to-back. It looks like it's probably going to be Forsberg. He's not bad, but he is their lesser of their 2 goalies here. So LA is kind of in a disadvantage here because they had to play last night, so they're on the back-to-back. They're actually having to travel, although it's only from LA to Vegas. They will be with their backup goalie here, whereas Vegas, starting out the season, they have Hill in net, who I think Hill's overrated. I know he was the starting goalie, I think, for Canada in the 4 Nations tournament or whatever. I don't know if I totally trust Hill, though. But he is their starting goalie. This is going to be Vegas' home opener, obviously. Vegas, solid team. Both these teams were solid last year. Vegas is a very heavy favorite, up from -185 to -200. 74% agreeing with Vegas a little bit here, and I would kind of disagree at that price, too. I think part of the reason that the price is so high is because LA played yesterday and because they didn't look good. But LA is also not as good on the road, or at least they were not last year. So definitely some disadvantages for LA here. But then again, because they already have a game out of the way, maybe that kind of takes the pressure off of them a little bit. Although I'd probably like it better if they won that game, because then they'd kind of have some momentum coming into this game. Whereas Vegas coming into this game a little bit cold, although I know there were preseason games and whatever. But I might lean to an over in this one if I was going to do it. LA has their backup goalie or their second string goalie. Their defense might be a little bit slow because they played yesterday, so the fatigue can affect the defense more than the offense. They're up from 5.5 to 6 here. 67%, or the total is, I should say, 67% of tickets, only 63% of cash on the over. But I think an over kind of makes sense here. Both teams can put up some scoring, and Vegas, Still don't know if I totally trust their goalie, Hill. So I could see that game being higher scoring than some of the other games. So, and it's the first game that involves a team that played already. So, yeah. It went 7. Yeah, I don't think Edmonton really sucked in the finals, though. I mean, Florida was a really good team, and Edmonton played them to the pretty much to the limit there. Although I think Florida was the better team in the series. Florida, I think, had a big lead early in the series, right? They were probably out to at least a 2-0 series lead, I think. I think they were the previous year, too. I think the previous year, Edmonton almost came back from down 0-3, I think, the previous year. But still, it went 7 games, so that's going to fatigue Edmonton even more, so that helps me out with that handicap there. And then we do have college football to finish this off. Man, I mean, you think anybody's really going to want to watch these games, man? I think every team involved tonight has a below 500 record, has a losing record, although part of it is because these are Conference USA teams, and most of them have played at least some of the better conference teams. The first game up at 7:30 on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern, is Missouri State and Middle Tennessee. Missouri State is a newcomer to FBS. Middle Tennessee has been awful this year, man. This Middle Tennessee team, I mean, they lost by 20 at home to Austin Peay, who was an FCS team. They got blown out by Wisconsin on the road, although that's kind of expected. Their only win was at Nevada. I don't even know how they did that. I mean, Nevada is one of the lesser teams in the FBS as well, but Middle Tennessee is so bad. They were still like a 9.5-point underdog in that game. They somehow won that game on the road. Then they came back home and they got slaughtered by Marshall, who is playing better than I expected, but still Marshall came into this season with all new players, like after losing their entire team over to Southern Miss from last year. This Marshall team is not good. And then Middle Tennessee also lost last time out at Kennesaw State, who is a team that's at least on the rise a little bit, but still not good. This Middle Tennessee team, people kind of remember them making bowls a bunch of times recently, but man, they are bad right now, even though they have their quarterback back from last year, Vattiato. But it has not been good for them. They are really bad. And they're, in fact, so bad that Missouri State is actually a favorite on the road here, up from -1.5 to -2.5 here. 63% of tickets, 75% of the cash on Middle Tennessee, though. And it is a fairly low total, actually, in both of these games. This one's at 49. I don't really have any gauge on the total. I mean, both offenses, I think, could potentially maybe score against these defenses. But, man, I mean, Missouri State, they played at SMU close. As I remember, I had Missouri State in that game, somewhat close. It was a bad spot for SMU in that one. Missouri State beat Marshall, by the way, so the one common opponent, people are going to look at that and say, oh, Missouri State won at Marshall. MTSU lost, I believe, at home really badly to Marshall. So, of course, it almost looks too easy to take Missouri State here, but the public's still not even doing that. The public is looking at this and I think saying, wait a minute, like, how are you laying points on the road with a below 500 team? So I don't know, man. I mean, I agree with the odds makers that Missouri State is the better team. Middle Tennessee has been awful this year. They're really bad, but I don't know. The money looks like it's starting to come in against them. I wouldn't want to do it. There isn't really much of a situation to look at. All the teams that are playing today were off on Saturday, of course, because they were getting ready to shift their schedule to these midweek games. Missouri State did play a tougher game against Western Kentucky last time out. Western Kentucky, kind of a known quantity in the Conference USA, so that was a pretty big game, even though Missouri State was only a 3.5-point underdog. Hosting Western Kentucky when you're a new FBS team like this, pretty big deal. So they are coming off of that, and maybe they won't pay as much attention to Middle Tennessee here. Middle Tennessee coming off a pretty ugly loss to Kennesaw, really. A couple of really ugly losses in a row. Kennesaw was probably favored in this game, though. Let me see. Yeah, by 7.5, so more than I thought. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's difficult to gauge this game. I don't really have an opinion on it, to be honest. The money's starting to come in on Middle Tennessee, but there's no way I would want to do that. They're just atrocious. So, I mean, Missouri State, you could argue their spot is slightly worse just because they're coming off that Western Kentucky game where they played them close. I don't want anything to do with it. You're talking shit. Yeah, well, the finals were the same matchup as the previous year, so nobody liked it. I don't like either team either, so. But I wanted Edmonton to lose because fuck Canada. Curtis, what's up, man? You came just at the end, man. And then we have Liberty and UTEP. Similar market read to the first game, man. You have the road team being a favorite, Public kind of coming in on the home underdog here with UTEP, 86% of the tickets on them, but more of the cash on them, 89% of the cash. And Liberty dropped from a 3-point favorite to a 1-point favorite. This total is low as well, though it went up a little bit to 47, which is a key number, by the way. But the money is actually coming back in on the under. This one, both these games have money coming in on the under, it looks like at this point. And this involves some pretty bad teams on both sides, man. I don't know what I think about the totals in these games, really. Maybe a slight lean to the under in both of these games, but I think Liberty UTEP might be the better game to look towards the under, but I'm not really much of a totals guy. This is a CBS Sports game here at 8 p.m. Eastern. Liberty has been massively underperforming this year, man. They've been fairly bad. Their only win was against FCS Maine. We remember Liberty being pretty good in this conference for a while, and they've been lined like they're a pretty good team for a while. I think they were a favorite in multiple of these games. I think they were a road favorite at Jacksonville State. I think they were a road favorite at Bowling Green as well. They lost both of those games, although Jacksonville State, Bowling Green, they're not terrible, really, but that was just, I don't know what that was, man. They lost both those games as road favorites. They came home and they lost to JMU, but JMU was actually solid. JMU was actually a road favorite against them, James Madison. And then Old Dominion is solid as well. So you couldn't really expect Liberty to win that game. Old Dominion was a 14.5-point favorite. Liberty only lost by 14, but it was a low-scoring game. Liberty's played a lot of low-scoring games, actually, too. Their offense has really not gotten it going. They've scored in all their FBS games, they've scored 13 or fewer in all but one of them. So that's not a great sign. This is going to be their fourth road game in 5 games, man. So Liberty really has not had an easy schedule either. I mean, this is so many road games in a row, which I think is, or in a short span, which is why I think some of the money's coming in on UTEP. I wouldn't really disagree with that because that is a brutal schedule. Of course, these teams also did have Saturday off because they're waiting to play this midweek game. UTEP is coming off some ugly losses, man. They played Texas actually pretty competitively, losing only 27-10 on the road. I think Texas just sleepwalked through that game, basically. I almost said cakewalked. But then UTEP lost at home to UL Monroe, who's not a good team. UTEP was favored and lost that game. And then UTEP lost badly at home to Louisiana Tech last week as a slight underdog. Louisiana Tech's pretty good, though. So UTEP's coming off of that. They're staying at home. They've had mostly home games so far. So I think there is a little bit of an advantage to UTEP as far as that's concerned. I actually think UTEP, out of these two teams, UTEP is actually the team that is, I think, more under the radar. And they did play Utah State and Texas, so they played a little bit more of a difficult schedule too. Although both teams only have wins against FCS teams. UTEP only beat Tennessee Martin. But I think UTEP has played a little bit more of the difficult schedule. Oddsmakers are still telling you Liberty's the better overall team, but I do think UTEP's a little more battle-tested. So I think UTEP makes sense as a lean in this one. As far as the sides in both these games, I think that's probably the better of any of them, but there's no way I would want to put my money on these shit games, so we'll stay away. But those are the college football games today. We get Conference USA Wednesday. Now, that's going to do it, man. So my plays today, one more time, are the WNBA Phoenix -3.5, although I know the line's 4.5 now, but I gave it out yesterday. Well, hopefully the line was still more palatable. We are going to be on the Chicago Cubs money line, and we're going to have a split bet on the Calgary Flamers, +1.5 on the puck line for half the bet and the other half on the money line. Hopefully we just get it done, man. I think the handicapping is decent, I hope, with those. So those are the plays today. Let's get some wins. After yesterday, we actually had off, because I thought that WNBA game was yesterday, but it's tonight. So that's it, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate it, especially everybody coming back, too. Ben, Jeffrey, who else was in here? Dirty Sock. I appreciate it from everybody, man. And Curtis, thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Let's get some wins here, and I'll be back again tomorrow. And we have NFL tomorrow for Thursday night as well, in addition to more college football and stuff. So let's get it done. Learn to Toad on Instagram, Learn to Toad on Twitter, of course. What else do we got? We got, of course, like and subscribe to the channel here. Let's get this channel going on YouTube, man. Better Off Dead. You can give me a review on iTunes, Spotify. Those help me out as well, or Apple and Spotify, I should say. Listening and reviewing on there helps me out. Covering the Uke is my Uke channel on YouTube, so I'm trying to get that going. I did a cover yesterday. I was using this webcam and this mic for it, so hopefully, I know it's only one mic that I have to do vocals and Uke on the one mic, but hopefully the audio sounded a little bit better than what I have been doing with my phone in the past, so we'll see if I want to continue doing that. Yeah, and then patreon.com/learn2toad, and there's some bonus Uke content there for now. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Curtis, Jeffrey, thanks, guys. And yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow morning unless I'm no longer still alive. Peace.